Hey folks, today we're gonna be learning Figma in 30 minutes, and during this lesson you'll create this design that you can see on your screen. This is a very simple screen for a fitness app, just to practice some topic we'll cover today and have some fun. So let's get started. This is what you see when you first launch your Figma app. Here we can see some files that Figma created for us, so we don't need them. All we need to do right now is clicking on this blue button, New Design File. So let's do it. And this is the space you'll be working in, like 99% of the time. Okay, right now we don't need any tooltips from Figma. And let's cover some UI basics. In the middle you can see the working area. This is where the work will be happening. So for example, we can create different objects here. Right now I created a simple rectangle. By the way, I used the keyboard shortcut R, which stands for rectangle. At the bottom you can see different tools. For example, right now Move tool is selected. That means I can select and move objects. This is my left mouse button. Also you can see other tools here, for example Frame, whereas Shapes, for example, you can see our rectangle. Let's create another one. And we also have more tools, we'll cover them later. Okay, on the left side you can see few things. First of all, we can see layers. You'll find all your objects here in the layers panel. We also have pages. Right now we have only one page, so let's create another one by clicking on this plus icon. So now we have page 1 and page 2, and you can switch between them. Okay, above you can see the file name. Let's change it to something else. For example, let's call it Fitness App. Okay. So in the middle you have your working area. On the left side you have the file structure. And on the right side you have the object properties. Let's select one of these rectangles and you can see tons of settings for this particular rectangle. For example, I can change the position. Right now you can see X position. If I change it to something else, let's say 400, and then I hit enter, the rectangle position changes. Okay, I can also change fill, and this will change the object color. Let's change the color for all our rectangles, like this. Okay, looks nice. One of the very important tools you will constantly use is Frame. You can select it in the Tools panel or use keyboard shortcut F or A. Okay, you can think of a frame as a format you're working in. Right now we are going to create a mobile app, so we need a phone. We have a list of different phone formats, so let's select iPhone 16 Pro. Okay, and now we have our first frame. For example, if you want to create a poster, you can think of a frame as a paper. The next tool you need to learn is text. Let's select it. By the way, shortcut for text is obviously T. And let's create some text. Just click inside the frame and let's type your fitness, your way. This is gonna be our title. We have different parameters for text. First of all, we can select our typeface. So let's keep Enter for now. Also, we have a font size. Let's change it to 60. Then you can see this blue rectangle around our text layer. If you move your cursor to the right side or to the left side, you will see that cursor changes to arrows. This means you can drag to change the width of your layer. Let's do it. Okay, and right now our text layer fits inside the frame. Okay, looks cool, but now I want to make margins here 20 pixels. How we can do this? Let's select our text layer, then press and hold Option key. By the way, I'm using Mac. If you're on PC, Option will be Alt for you and Command will be Control. When you're holding Option, you can see different measurings. So right now I can see that the spacing between our text layer and the corner of the screen is 32 pixels. So let's make sure we have 20 pixels and we have 20 on the right side as well. Okay, looks cool. Now let's hit O This will call ellipse tool, and let's create an ellipse like this. Okay, so far so good. Then we need to select our layer and let's rotate it. You can do it in a few ways. For example, you can use this rotation parameter here in the right panel. For example, you can type here 45 degrees. Okay. Then let's duplicate this ellipse. To do it very fast, just hold Option key, and when you're holding Option, use your left mouse button, and this will create a duplicate of the layer. This way we can create a lot of duplicates of our initial ellipse. Okay, now we have a bunch of ellipses, but all of them are different objects. You can hit Command Y to see outlines, and now you can clearly see that we have a lot of objects here, despite of the fact that if you're going back to the regular view, it looks like a single shape. In order to make this a single shape, you need to select all of these ellipses, then go to the top right corner, click on this three dots icon, and then select Union Selection. And now you can see in our Layers panel, we have this new Union object. If you open it, there are still our ellipses inside, but the union itself will behave like a single object. This is what we need right now. By the way, if you hit and hold Command, you can directly select one of these ellipses. So let's select this one and move it a little bit down. Let's just move these ellipses to get something like this. Okay, then I copy and paste an image from the internet. I found an image of this guy on the Unsplash website. This is the website where you can find different free images that you can use in your designs. You'll find the link in the video description. Okay, let's select this image. What we need is this fill area here. Let's click on this empty space here in the fill, a little bit on the left side from the small preview here. So now you can see that this fill layer is selected. All I need to do is hit Command C on my keyboard. Then let's select our union and hit Command V. And we just pasted the image to our union. Okay, this is looking great, but right now you can see that our title, our text, is beneath this object. How we can fix this? This is another concept that you need to understand. Here in the layer structure, the objects that are higher in the hierarchy will be visible first. So, for example, if we have this text layer on the top inside our iPhone 16 frame, we will see this text on top, and only then we will see our image below. Let me demonstrate this on this example where we have our three rectangles. So right now I have this magenta rectangle on top because it's higher in the layer structure. If I move this rectangle to the bottom, you will see that right now we see the blue rectangle first, then we see the green one, and then we have our magenta one. Okay, let's delete these rectangles, we don't need them anymore. Let's create another text layer. Hit T on your keyboard and type Get Started. This time we need way smaller text, let's say 18 pixel. And let's also change the line height parameter, we'll set it to 20. Okay. And right now I'll show you an advanced technique, but this is very important one. So let's hit Shift A. We just created an auto layout, which is essentially a new frame with fixed margins. So what does it mean? Let's apply some fill to this object so we can see it better. You can see that right now our text is wrapped inside this rectangle. If I select it, I can see that we have this new auto layout group of parameters, and here we have horizontal padding. Let's set it to 32. We have vertical padding, let's set it to 20. And the main reason why right now we need this auto layout feature is because when you type something to this text layer, you will see that the width of the object itself automatically adjusts according to the content size. So if we're adding some text, the width of the object grows, which is a very cool feature, and it's very hard to work without it. So we created our first button, which is called Get Started in this case. So let's change the weight of this text. Let's set, for example, semi-bold. Okay, right now I want to select this guy and change border radius. You can find it here under Appearance. Let's type 100 here. So now you can see that we have these nicely rounded corners. Okay, then I want to change the background of our frame to black. By the way, don't use absolute black, which is 0000. Let's select something like this. The reason for this is, in real life, we don't really have an absolute white objects and an absolute black objects. And also this is too much contrast. Okay, so now we need to change our fill for the text. Let's select white, but again, don't use an absolute white. Let's select some blue tint instead. Very light blue. Okay, looks cool. Let's move this text a little bit down. Then let's select our button and increase its width to match our paddings, which is 20 pixels. And let's also change the fill. Let's just copy this fill that we just applied to our text and paste it here. Okay, looks great. Now I will take a copy from ChatGPT and paste it here. Let's cut it and paste right here. Okay, right now you can see that I have this fancy font here, FKT Gnarly VF. You can use your default font, for example Inter, but I will use this one because I like it, and you'll find a link in the video description to this font. You can download the trial version of this font to use it in your personal projects. Okay, let's adjust the spacing between our title and this font, and also I want to use the same font for the title. Let's change it to FKT Gnarly and set the font weight to bold or semi-bold. Yeah, I think that bold looks better actually. Okay, now you can create another after layout between these two layers. So let's select them and hit Shift A. Okay, looks great. And now you can see that we have this new parameter, which is a spacing between objects inside outer layout. So I keep it 20. Let's also adjust the spacing between our text and the button. Okay, 40, I think that works for me. Then I need two important elements. Here I need the home indicator and I also need the status bar on top. These are standard iOS elements since we are creating design for iOS. So let's go to Assets panel, then select this library iOS 18 and let's search for home indicator. Okay, this is what I need. Just drag and drop home indicator, agree with the license, and let's do the same for status. Yeah, I need this status bar. Okay, right now let's cut it, Command X, and paste to our design. You can move it manually to the top, or you can use shortcuts, Option A, Option W, to align it to the top left corner. Okay, and let's remove this fill, background primary, we don't need it. To remove it, just click this remove icon. Okay, and then let's take our color here and apply it here to selection colors, unlink it and paste the new color here. And let's do the same for home indicator. But this time I used keyboard shortcuts Option A, Option S. And let's apply the same fill to our home indicator. Okay, looks great. And now you can see that our design starting to look way more realistic, just because we have these default iOS elements. Okay, let's select our text and our button. We can add another outer layout, Shift A. Let's move it closer to home indicator. For spacing, I want 12 pixels here. Okay. Let's also change the font for our button to the same font we are using in the title and description. And here I want semi-bold. Okay, I already have it. Let's also select our frame, copy the fill and paste it as a fill for our button text. Okay, we're getting closer to the final result. So let's take some of these ellipses and move them to get a more interesting shape. Something like this. You can use it in a different way to have your unique shape, or you can even use different shapes. For example, it can be circles, rectangles, it could be some sort of a pattern. So just use your imagination to form a unique shape here. If you feel like you need another shape, you can just duplicate the shape, use the shortcut Command D to add another shape, and you can move it, and it's still inside the union. You can see it in the layer structure. And don't forget that you can always hit Command Y to check what's going on under the surface. So right now you can see that we have 6 ellipses and they're forming a kinda unique shape. Okay, now we will make this design a bit more spicy by adding a gradient from the top to the center and from the bottom to the center. In order to do that, let's select our frame, go to Fill and hit this plus icon. This will add another layer of the fill. Yes, you can have as many fill layers as you want. For example, you can have red color here on top of your black one. And for example, you can set 50% opacity and this red color will blend with your black fill layer, which is underneath this one. Okay, right now let's set 100% for opacity. Let's move here and you can see different icons here. Let's select this guy, gradient. Right now you can see these dots, which are actually controllers for gradient direction. So let's move them and you can create your own unique gradient. You can choose whatever colors you like. I will choose orange here for the top part. For example, here it will be like dark orange. Then I'll choose something a bit lighter. Okay, you can create new dots here in the gradient just by clicking in the empty space, like this. And you can move them also here in the working area. Okay, then I will add kind of something between pink and magenta. Okay. Then let's add a nice blue color. Something like this. And I want to set 100% opacity for all of them. And the last dot here will be kind of a darker blue. Also 100%. And the last dot here will be black instead of the red. Okay, let's see what we have. Yes, I kinda like it. Probably I will adjust it later. But for now, I'm good with it. Let's adjust our shape again, because right now we can see it better. Okay, probably I will increase the size. Or I will just create another shape. Of course, you can undo all of your changes by using Command Z shortcut. All you need to do is to find a shape that you like. Okay. Probably I will add another shape. Again, using shortcut Option and left mouse button, you can always make a new copy of the shape. and these ways you can add more complexity to your union shape. Okay, let's say I like this result, but I want to crop the photo in a different way. What can I do? Select the union, go to Fill, click on your image, and here in this drop-down select Crop instead of Fill. Crop will allow you to manually change the size of the image. Like this. Yeah, that looks great, and probably I will keep it like this. Again, I will tweak a little bit the shape. Okay, looks fine. Let's add a bit more colors to our design. I will create another rectangle. Let's put it inside the frame. And I want to highlight the first word, but right now, again, I cannot see the text because this rectangle is above all of our layers. So all I need to do is to select this auto layout and move it to the top in the layer structure. Okay, then let's use our orange color. I will use an eyedropper icon to select the color. Let's choose this nice orange. Okay, let's change our rectangle size to better fit the word your. Let's adjust it a bit better. Now let's duplicate this rectangle, move it down to highlight the word way. By the way, you can move objects around using arrow keys on your keyboard. And if you hold Shift and use arrows, you can move it by 10 pixels instead of 1 pixel. Okay, looks good, so let's select a different color. Let's adjust it a little bit to have a better contrast. Okay, looks fine. Probably I will make it a bit bigger. And we're almost done. Let me adjust the size a bit more, like this. Right now I want to duplicate this shape. To do it, just select it, hit Command D, then use shortcut Shift X. It will swap fill to stroke. Let's remove our image layer from the stroke here, and let's add another gradient here from this off-white to probably orange color, like this. It gives an extra depth to our visual. Let's shift it a little bit to the bottom, probably not that much. Yeah, I think something like this looks great. Okay. And the last tweak I want to make is adding a gradient to the bottom part of the screen as well. So let's select our fill with a gradient, hit Command C and then Command V, and let's change the position of the gradient. But right now we cannot see our previous gradient anymore. That's because we have our black layer set by 100% opacity. Let's change it to 0, and now we can see both of these gradients. And for the bottom one, I'd like to move these dots a bit closer to each other. Okay? Something like this. And that's it, guys. Now we have our final design. You can change the border radius of the frame itself to have a nicer look. And let's also change the name of this layer to Fitness App Welcome Screen. Because this is a screen that you can see when you first open the app. So we can see some visual. You can see the text telling you what this app is about, and you have this little button to get started in the app. That's it, guys. If you like this video, consider subscribing to the channel and hit the like button, because I will create more videos about Figma, design and all this great stuff. And probably we will also use this design in the future videos. We will add more screens in this style, then we will probably create a clickable interactive prototype. I will also show you how you can paste your design inside the mockup to have a result like this. So you can add this image to your portfolio, for example. That's it. Thank you, have a nice one, and bye bye. See you.